We cannot continue to rely only on our military in order to achieve the national security objectives that we've set. We've got to have a civilian national security force that's just as powerful, just as strong, just as well funded.
I saw something today in the news that I thought was kind of disturbing because it's one of the warning signs that I've been looking for. I remember when I was living in Connecticut. I've lived in New York since then, so this has got to be 4 years ago or so. I was putting my flag up outside, and I remember thinking, I think it was right around TARP, nobody was paying attention to the economic meltdown at the end of the Bush administration, and I thought, we are in trouble. And I was putting my flag up, and I thought, I should hang this upside down, but people would go crazy if I did. But I was trying to think, how do I get people's attention? Flying your flag upside down with the stars on the bottom is the traditional signal for distress. If you're on a boat, that means help, we're in trouble. I was tempted to do it, but I didn't. I thought better of it, and it wasn't appropriate at the time. I raised the flag as I had another thought. Boy, if I ever start seeing people start to really do that, flying the flag upside down, we are going to be in real trouble. Well, more and more people are actually now doing it. Larry Guerreri, he is a Vietnam veteran from the Pittsburgh area. He's one of them. He started doing it the day after the election. Watch.
Larry Guerreri fought beneath the flag in Vietnam, but outside his Dorseyville home today, it's flying upside down.
That's a sign of distress. And this country's in distress right now.
Larry makes no effort to hide his feelings about President Barack Obama.
This Benghazi incident, he left them 4 people there to die. That's just the way I feel about it.
So his flag flies in protest.
Larry isn't the only veteran in the area doing it. The flag has been flown upside down in these circumstances before. It's not a new method of protest by any means, and it is, believe it or not, a respectful means of protest. But as more and more people, God forbid, start to do it, I believe the meaning behind it will begin to change, or at least people will start to really take notice. We are entering a new phase now, and we have to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. Something else is happening kind of along these lines. The White House has a website called whitehouse.gov. There's a new interesting and I believe stupid trend. It is the administration's website where they ask for direct feedback, and they say, we started this We the People program, and what you do is you come in here and you post petitions, and you can request us to do anything, action from the federal government. And if 25,000 people or more, then the president has to respond, and we will. As of noon today, no less than 36 states have residents posting petitions requesting peaceful secession from the Union on their state's behalf. And check this out. What a shock. Texas leads the way. When I got up this morning, Texas had, last night it had 25,000 signatures. This morning it had 60,000 signatures, now over 80,000 signatures. By their own White House rules, if a petition acquires more than 25,000, within a month of posting, the White House must issue a response. And I don't think they're going to have a problem responding. To begin with, there is no such thing as a peaceful secession from the Union. It was settled in the Civil War. I don't happen to agree with it. I don't think the Constitution is a suicide pact, but that's the way it is. You want to secede, there will be war. Some feel the suggestion itself is treasonous. I don't. Read the first couple of lines of the Declaration of Independence. But over 80,000 citizens now have submitted, and this is where it gets crazy, their personal information in association with this request. And that's just Texas. Do you think saying, hey, I think we should secede, and sending your name and address and everything else is a good idea to send it to the White House? I would suggest that most of these people are just trying to make a point with this new public platform. I don't think a lot of people actually believe it, but I'm sure some people do. A lot of them are growing increasingly serious about it, not out of a hate of anything, but as a fear that we are going to destroy the Constitution and the very fabric of the Republic, and they will hold on to a remnant rather than lose it all. They take the ideals in the Declaration of Independence very seriously. Michael E. posted the first of the secession requests on behalf of the state of Louisiana, using phrases from the Declaration of Independence. And he used the phrases liberally in his petition. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with one another. That's how it starts. That's at the heart of the request. Dissolving the political bands which have connected them. And it's appropriate. It's an appropriate reference to the document, especially when done with respect and reverence, as the Declaration of Independence was. They were beseeching and saying, please, just leave us alone. However, as Lincoln might say, take care. This is exactly the kind of fuel the president will use to order measures to protect the Republic. And he'll have the Department of Homeland Security at his disposal to enforce them. Not a lot of people are reporting on this. I didn't think it was even possible, but yes, indeed it is. October 26, Obama signed his 141st executive order. It happened 10 days before the election, and no one in the mainstream media reported on it. It greatly expanded the influence of Homeland Security on local law enforcement agencies. The goal is just to create partnerships between the DHS and local police. Oh, nice sounding word, partnership. When the federal government teams up with local police agencies, the liberty of private citizens is always at stake. Suddenly those 175,000 hollow point bullets at the Social Security Administration, and how many millions at Department of Homeland Security that were bought last summer, starting to make a little more sense, aren't they? If the government begins arming itself against the citizens at the federal level and starts to say, by the way, we're your new state police, that would indeed be the point in the course of human events where it becomes necessary to dissolve political bands. The TSA, the NDAA, and the DHS all represent federal mandates to violate the privacy of citizens of this country on the grounds that it's necessary for your protection. We cannot allow the DHS to become a domestic police force. This is something that people have dismissed since the day this president got into office. They will never look at his own words, but it is what the president wants. From the first election, in his own words, watch.
We cannot continue to rely only on our military in order to achieve the national security objectives that we've set. We've got to have a civilian national security force that's just as powerful, just as strong, just as well funded
as the U.S. military, and that's what they're building. Government is expanding its power over citizens. Secession is not an option. Contact your governor and tell him to get your state's gold back into its own treasury. Take charge of your children's education. Make sure they are learning from you. Do your part and change the media. It is going to take all of us doing all of the things that we each have our own God-given talents and responsibility over. Because the next step is drive the righteous from among them. And that's when things get really dicey.